Hi, my name is Mayra Villegas and I am a visual artist. I mainly do paintings but have also done stitching primarily on felt. I've also done some 3D prints in collaboration with my brother and sister-in-law who are toy designers. So yeah, I started this whole journey, you could say, back in 2014, and that's when I first started grad school. I went to Claremont Graduate University, and I was there for 2 years, and I graduated in 2016. Yeah, while I was there, I definitely didn't really have much to work with. I didn't have a sense of direction just yet, so I feel like my first year was spent just exploring different themes and things that I had kind of done in the past. And so it seems like the reoccurring themes or little things that I used to experiment with were just making weird creatures. And so I always used to draw on the walls of my room, on my furniture, and it always came out to these weird creatures and stuff. So that's kind of how I began. I started making these big versions of these creatures and stuff, and they're always telling a story. There's always a scene where like, you know, two people are involved, two creatures, and there's like one confronting the other or expressing anger, different types of emotion. While I was in grad school, there was definitely this push to work big. And so a lot of my paintings have really huge creatures, and they're on these big canvases, panels that are about like 60 inches to 70 inches and stuff. So I was doing that for the first year, and it continued on the second year. But I always felt like something was lacking, like I wanted more. I always felt like I wasn't completely satisfied with my images, and I just wanted more of a narrative going on, more of a like kind of storytelling. So after I graduated, I lost my studio space, which meant that I didn't really have a space to work in other than my room. So I definitely had to downsize very quickly. And so I started experimenting. I started sketching on smaller sized paper, and then eventually it turned out to be like smaller canvases, smaller panels, and then paperboard. So it was basically just this transition out of necessity, but it turned out to be one of the best things, you know, for my practice. It gave me a chance to focus on one image or one creature, one character, and just really render those characters, you know. And you know, when it's a small image, you're really asking for people to come in, you know, you're inviting them to get closer. So it really is, for me, necessary to get all those details and stuff. So that's kind of how it started. And so yeah, so I had been working on these 4 inches by 4 inches dimensions, and yeah, just kind of like encapsulating on these creatures. But then I also was having this issue where I was just calling them creatures, you know, and they weren't just creatures. Like each one was like something specific. There was a character, and so that's also when I decided that I should try to like really just like, yeah, more rendering on these characters and give them names and give them roles in this like universe that I started creating. So yeah, while I was researching or just like looking through the imagery in these codices, I noticed that someone with like power, or how should I say, with like authority, or that would be in charge of like the tribe. They would be wearing like a headdress or something. And so I decided to give a headdress to Nopal King as just, as a characteristic of he's the hero, he's the one that can help you if you have a problem. So yeah, not only did I give him a headdress, but I also made him into like this half cactus, half creature kind of thing. And I just really wanted to incorporate cactus, which is like that's what nopal is. And so I just wanted to really use this because it's a staple in like Mexican culture and stuff. And so I always felt like, oh, maybe he can get his powers from like the nopal, and then there's prickly pears. And so just little by little, I just started building on his character and stuff. So that's how it started with Nopal King. So I also thought, I have a hero, now I need a villain, because there's always like these evil forces around us, or things are always happening to us that it sucks that it's happening, but it's inevitable. So I also was looking through the imagery again, and I was trying to get images that were like symbolic of death, of evil. And so of course in these codices they use the skulls. They have a lot of these like they're called like staffs or something that also are like invoking some kind of like danger or harm to someone. And so I also thought of like, what is most people that cause harm or that want to bully you, sometimes like they're afraid themselves, and this is one way that they can probably take out their fear or their anger. They usually have like a victim and they take it out on them. And so I was kind of playing on the words bok bok as like when a chicken, you're so chicken, and so yeah, that's that became my villain. So my villain's name is Bok Bok, and so he's like this green kind of like octopus looking kind of figure, and he's wearing a skull. Sometimes he's holding a staff. And so yeah, he's like this intimidating figure that is always trying to cause havoc, and he's like always getting in the way. So yeah, so I had this villain. But then I also decided, villains usually have assistants, and they usually, need help in getting, in creating this havoc. So I also decided to give him some helpers, and I've called them the bad weeds. That came from an expression that my uncle used to use in Spanish, mala hierba, where like the bad weeds, I guess he was saying, just playing on bad weeds never die or something. So I decided that I would incorporate this into my work. And so yeah, I have the bok bok and the bad weeds, and they're always working together, and they're always trying to bother someone in this universe, the citizens of my town. And so usually, yes, Nopal King will intervene and try to help those citizens before Bok Bok does anything to them. I also decided that if Bok Bok was going to have assistance, then Nopal King should too. And so then that's when my tubby creatures came in. So the tubby creatures were not part of my paintings before. They were these soft sculptures that I make out of felt. And they've been really great in the sense that when I'm working with felt, I work differently in just like choosing my colors and shapes and everything. And so a lot of what I've done on felt, it's also translated on canvas, on panel, on paperboard. And so that's been a really great inspiration for me, just doing two things, working with two mediums. But I just thought that my tubby creatures can be magical as well, and they're already part of me, and they could be part of this universe. And so yeah, I gave Nopal King these assistants, the tubby creatures. So yeah, you'll see them flying around, and they have the same magic as Nopal King has. They use the prickly pears and stuff. And so so yeah, I've now created this hero, this villain. They have assistants, they have helpers. And so then I've also wanted to incorporate more of like sympathetic magic, which is also something very common in, Aztec culture and stuff. So I was looking that they use a lot of like animal skins. And so I was like, oh yeah, that looks so great. Like I feel like I can dress my characters up and they will embody that animal. And so I decided to make hats for my characters. And so, sometimes I'll do self-portraits of myself in this other creature, like alias or something. And I'll be wearing a jaguar hat, but I'll put myself in a situation where I need to find strength, I need to find courage. And so by wearing this jaguar hat, I can receive that, I can get those powers. I've created a series of characters now. I've now have my hero, my villain, I have assistants and helpers, I have citizens of the town, and I also have like a healer whose name is Mayra Villegas. So there's a bunch of characters now at play, and so I'm now currently just always trying to figure out or try to sculpt what is the next character that can come in to my work. And so that's currently where I'm at right now. I've been trying to explore different themes, maybe still using Aztec culture, but maybe other things that inspire me. The recent paintings that I've made, I've incorporated a lot of my just personal things that I have in my life. I will incorporate my animals, I incorporate like people that I meet, and so that's a whole other element now, where before it was just this universe strictly with Nopal King and Bok Bok and the citizens of the town, but now I'm trying to just bring more of myself into this universe. So there's like a fusion between the universe that I've created and my own world, and so that's currently where I'm at right now. Another thing that I'm currently exploring are shadow boxes. I've really enjoyed creating these three-dimensional scenes where I'll get some miniature props, but I'll also still make some small paintings that can be inserted inside the shadow boxes and stuff. So that's something that I will continue to explore too, because I love that whole aspect of just like immersing yourself in this small space. And so yeah, I've been currently working on also similar dimensions, about like 7 inches by 7 inches with these shadow boxes, and so maybe at some point I could also expand on that and go a little bigger. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed listening to my creative insights on how my process is in making my paintings and creating these characters. And thank you. I need to do that.